So now, in today's lecture, we'll be dealing with population forecasting. So we'll be dealing with population forecasting. See, there are various methods to deal with population forecasting to compute or basically to predict. Forecast means what? We are predicting the population. So there are various methods with the help of which we can forecast the populations. But before dealing with those methods, what you have to understand the variation of population and time. How the population varies with respect to time, that is very much important for you to understand first, right? So I'm drawing a curve. Well, this is abscissa, or you can say x-axis. You have time here. Then you have population on y-axis, or y-axis call it as ordinate. So this is population. Now we'll draw an S-curve. I've drawn this S-curve now. Now, what will happen is, see, this whole S-curve, this is known as logistic curve or S-curve, or you can call it as autocatalytic curve. Fine. Now, this S-curve, we'll divide it into 3 different phases and we'll study the 3 phases. First of all, you start from the very beginning. See, this is almost like this only. Now see, generally nearly at initial time at t is equal to 0 or some infinitely small times, you can see, as the time is increasing, the population is also increasing. Fine. Time 0 and then it is increasing, that means it is a newly developed city. That means you can take example of like a city like New Raipur. Fine. It is a newly developed city. So what happens? We are starting it from time 0. That means it is a very newly developed city. Now, in this phase, let us calculate the slope. Let us suppose I'll calculate the slope. I'm calculating the slope here. I'm calculating the slope at this particular point. Let us say this is theta 1. This is theta 2. What I'll see, if you calculate the slope at this point, and if you calculate the slope as, this will be like this. If you calculate the slope at this point, you will see that theta 2 will be greater than theta 1. And what is this theta, by the way? Theta, that is what slope, and what we call it here in this case, see, you know that tan theta is equal to dy by dx. So here in place of ordinate, what we have population and we have time. So if you calculate the slope, you see that dp by dt here, that is theta 2, is greater than theta 1. So you can say that as the time increases, fine, your population is increasing. That's for sure. That you can say it for everything. But what you observe it here is, as the time increases, your population increases, one thing, and your rate of growth of population also increases. That means with the passage of time, population is increasing. Yes, ma'am, you are right. Now the second thing which I am telling you is, rate of growth of population is also increasing. That means when is directly proportional. That means as the population is increasing, the rate of growth of population is also increasing. How we came to know that rate of growth of population is increasing? At this point, we calculated the slope at 2 different points, from which we came to know that slope theta 2 is greater than theta 1, which simplifies that rate of growth of population is directly proportional to the population. That means population is increasing and rate of growth of population also increases. This is known as phase 1. This is your phase 1. Right? So in phase 1, what can I write it here? Take blue pen. In phase 1, I can write it as, it is for very young city and dP by dt is directly proportional to P. That is, population increases and rate of growth of population also increases. Of population also increases. This happens when you are seeing this happens in phase 1, and how you calculated that rate of growth of population is also increasing. You just calculated the slopes at 2 points and you came to know that theta 2 is greater than theta 1. This I told you just for explanation purpose, because if I would have written the statement that rate of growth of population increases in this phase, you would have asked me, ma'am, how could you say that? So that is the reason I have made this, to make you understand. Getting it? Now comes the second phase, that is phase 2. First we'll see what happens in this phase. I'll take another color pen. Now what happens in this phase? Let us take 2 slopes. Before taking 2 slopes, you know that with time population is increasing. Fine. With time you can see that the population is increasing, no doubt. So my main motive of consideration is I have to calculate the rate of growth. I know that growth is occurring, the population is increasing, but I am very much interested in knowing what is the rate of growth. So I'll take what? I'll again take 2 slopes. Let us say this one is theta 3, this one is theta 4. So what I'll see that theta 3 and theta 4 are almost, it might be possible it won't be looking the same, but in actual if you see, theta 3 is almost, I'm telling almost equal to theta 4. That means although with the increase in time the population is increasing, but rate of growth of population is constant, almost constant. Fine. You'll say, ma'am, here we can see there is 2 different values. It might be possible because I have drawn it by hand. Fine. But in actual, theta 3 is almost equal to theta 4. And that is the reason you can say in phase 2, dP by dt is almost constant. That means there is a constant growth of population. Rate of growth of population is constant. You can say like this. Fine. Now comes the question, where do you find this? Like I told you, phase 1, we find this in a very young city. Okay, just tell me first one thing. You wouldn't have asked me, but I'm the one who's representing you now. So I'm the one who's asking question also. So the thing is, in this, why does this happen? That rate of growth of population is directly proportional to population. How can you say that? Reason is, this city is newly developed. Fine. Let us suppose New Raipur, New Bhopal, this city is newly developed. So what is happening? The demand is less and the supply is more. Because initially the population is less and so the demand is less, but the supply is more. Fine. So what is happening? The rate of growth of population is increasing. right? Because you have been provided with all the facilities and rates are considerable cheaper because it is a newly developed cities, and you're provided with all the demands which you need. Fine, the demands are less, the supply is more, and all these reason makes this statement that rate of growth of population is directly proportional to the population. So population increases and rate of growth, the rate at which the population grows, it also increases. Why I am telling you this again and again? Because in the third phase, this rate of growth thing will also come into picture, and there is a twist. Fine. And in the second phase, this phase 2 is basically for an old city. This phase 2 is basically for old city. This you should know. For old city, rate of growth of population is almost constant. Fine. Now coming to the third phase, that is phase 3. I'll take blue pen. Now see, here also, before dealing with this, I'll tell you one term, that is saturation population. I'll tell you one term, that is saturation population. Okay, what is this saturation population? This PS is known as saturation population. Now what is this saturation population? First understand that before we proceed to the third stage. What happens is, this saturation population is the maximum amount of people, or you can say the maximum population that a city can take or can accommodate. That is known as saturation population. You use this word saturation quite often, like you use it as degree of saturation, fine, in your geotech and all those things. Fine, I'm just saturated, means that I'm just full. Fine. So this is only here, saturation population, the maximum amount of population that a community or that a city can accommodate. Fine. So this is saturation population. Now in phase 3, we'll again look at the pattern that how the rate of growth of population takes place. Fine. In which manner, either it is decreasing, or it is constant, that we'll see. So now we'll take the slopes. Let us say this is theta 5. This is theta 6. What happens is, if you see here, what will happen, your theta 5 will be greater as compared to theta 6. So in the third phase, when you'll calculate the rate of growth of population, you will see that the slope here, theta 5, is greater than theta 6. Initially what you found, your theta 2 was greater than theta 1, then theta 3 and theta 4 are almost constant, and then you took it out that theta 5 is greater than theta 6. This you have seen. Now that means what? This means the rate of growth of population is decreasing. How? Let us say this is phase 3. So what happens in phase 3? Your rate of growth of population is directly proportional to PS minus P. Now let me explain you how does it works. PS, I told you, this is the saturation population. That is the maximum amount of population that a city, that a community can accommodate. Fine. Now this saturation population, let us suppose for your area, for your locality, for your city, it will remain constant. Right? This won't change. But what will happen is, the population, it's increasing, because everywhere you talk regarding everywhere in this whole graph, when I'm showing you the variations, as the time is increasing, the population is increasing for sure, no doubt. But I am telling you rate of growth of population. Fine, my motive is to explain you what is the rate at which the population is growing. So here in phase 3, what is happening? Your population is increasing and PS is constant. Your population is increasing, PS is constant. That means this whole value, PS minus P is decreasing. Fine. This whole value PS minus P will decrease because obviously there is a constant value, and what you're doing, you're subtracting a value which is increasing with time. Then obviously your dP by dt will decrease. Your dP by dt will decrease, right? So what I'm telling you is, as in this third phase, the population increases, but the rate at the growth of population, or the rate at which the population grows, it is decreasing. You understood? Or I shall say it again. See, PS is constant, population is increasing, this whole value will decrease. Fine. So dP by dt will decrease. So the population is increasing, but the rate of growth of population, the rate from at which the population is growing, that is decreasing. Fine. So I can write population is increasing, but rate of growth of population is decreasing. Now, first of all, two questions which you should ask to me. First thing, where does this happens? This happens in very old cities. This is phase 3, and this occurs in very old cities like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, or we call it as Kolkata. All those cities, etc. Fine. In that case, you find this. Now the question comes, ma'am, why does it happen? Why such a thing occur? The reason for this is, what happens, these cities are almost to the saturation level. See, these we are discussing in theoretical concept, but in practical it has surpassed the saturation level also. But in theoretical basis, if we are talking about, what is happening is this thing, the population is increasing. Fine. On already it is almost on the verge of reaching saturation level. That means the demand is more, but the supply is less. And that is the reason what is happening, the cost of every commodity is increasing. Fine. And the rate, see, population is increasing no matter what. In Delhi, Bombay, we all people go to job or working in MNCs and all those things, that is increasing. The number of population, the number of people in that places are increasing. But the growth rate which used to happen, it has decreased. Like if it in dP by dt last year was 10%, so now it is 8%. So what is happening? Although it is increasing, but the rate is decreasing. Fine. The rate it happens is decreasing. So that means what type of city we are talking about? It depends upon the percentage rate of growth. You can see here, I'll mark phase 3. I'll mark it as phase 3. So what I can say, if I'm talking, if percentage rate of growth is increasing, 3 points which you should remember, but I can think more than remembering, if you're clear with that diagram, it's understood. If percentage rate of growth is increasing, we are talking about a young city. Fine. If percentage rate of growth is almost constant, I'm talking regarding an old city. And the third one is, if percentage rate of growth is decreasing, we are talking about very old city. Now, can you tell me, what if a city is almost on the verge of reaching a saturation population? As you can see it from the graph, the city here, that is very old city, are on the verge of reaching the saturation population. So what happens in this case? What do we do? What we do is we construct, or basically we make a city, you can say. You can construct, or you make, or you develop, to be precise, you develop a new city nearby. On the outskirts of that city, you will develop a new city, like you have seen New Delhi, New Mumbai, New Raipur, New Bhopal. So what you are doing, that on the same city, on the outskirts of that city, you are developing a new city. Why? Because this initial city, this previous city which is there, it has already or almost reached to its saturation population, and that is the reason you have constructed, or you have developed a city on the outskirts of that city. Right? This much is clear to you? So now, in question, they'll tell you whether it's a young city, whether it's an old city, or it's a very old city. So you'll have that in your mind, that okay, fine, rate of growth of population, it will increasing, young city. Rate of growth of percentage rate of growth is almost constant, then it is old city. And the percentage rate of growth is decreasing, rate of growth of population, it is understood. Fine, then we are talking about very old city. So now, here, I explained you population with time. Now, I'll explain you how this dp by dt varies. I'll tell you. See, I'll take black color pen. This graph, initially dp by dt increases. So this dp by dt initially increases. Then it almost remains constant. And then what will happen? Its value decreases. So this is the graph of dp by dt. Here, this is phase 1, phase 2, and this is phase 3. This is the graph of dp by dt. Fine, and you can write it here. So with black pen only I've written now. This one. dp by dt is directly proportional to PS minus P. If you understood this graph, there is no need for writing that theory, but still you can use it for your further references. But this thing is, dp by dt means as dp by dt is increasing, P will also increase. Here, dp by dt is constant, almost constant. And here you can see the rate of growth of population decreases. Although the population is increasing, but the rate at which the population increases, it is decreasing. Fine. And what happens in this case? I told you we develop a city outskirts of that previous city, or you can see old city. That is the New Delhi, New Raipur, New Mumbai, New Bhopal. These are the examples which you can see. Right? So this is clear to you, because if this is clear, then only we'll move to population forecasting methods. So that in that what happens is, initially they don't give you that what method you have to apply. They'll tell you that young city, old city, very old city. So immediately it should click in your mind that okay, young city, dp by dt is directly proportional to p, increases, dp by dt increases. Old city, dp by dt is almost constant. Very old city, dp by dt decreases with the increase in population. Fine. So I guess this is clear to you. Now, one more thing which we'll be discussing is, what are the factors which affects the growth of population, or what are the factors which affect population. Before discussing that, just one thing. This initially I have drawn for population and time, but when I haven't drawn, means erase this diagram. You can erase this diagram, this one, S curve, and you can write it as population and dp by dt. Fine. So you can calculate. This dp by dt diagram is this one. So you can write it. I haven't mentioned on the y-axis. If you'll point it out, I'm telling you that for this dp by dt, and here will be the time. So now, in this lecture, we'll be studying what are the factors which affects the growth of community, or basically what are the factors on which the population depends. So we'll be starting with, we can write that population of any community or any city depends upon. What are the factors on which the population depends upon? First in this category is your growth rate. Fine. Now, how this growth rate depends upon population, how the population of a city basically depends upon growth rate, fine, that we'll study. Now see, what happens is, how can we individualize the growth rate? Just now I told you in the lecture that rate of growth of population is increasing, it is a young city. Rate of growth is decreasing, then it is a old city. That means very old city, or you can say it as a developed city somewhat. So now see, if I'm telling that the rate of growth is decreasing, that means I'm talking regarding a very old city like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, anything, Chennai. So what is happening is, growth rate is telling you what the type of city. Fine, that means the population is increasing, but the rate at which the population is increasing is less. The rate of growth of population is decreasing with the increase in population, right? So growth rate depends upon the type of city. So I can write it as depends upon the type of city. For a young city, growth rate is high. For an old city, the growth rate is decreasing. Now, the second thing is growth rate, or you can say birth rate. Second thing is death rate. Now, I'll tell you a statement. You first think how to justify it. Death rate also depends upon the type of city. Death rate also depends upon the type of city. Now, what does this mean? See, if you want to understand death rate, suppose there is a city where what happens is, if there is a very much developed city where you have having all the medical equipments, advanced technologies for treating any sort of disease, so there the death rate will be low. And suppose you are considering any new city, basically not new, you can say any city which is not very highly equipped with all the modern facilities, with all the medical equipments, then what will happen? The death rate will be more. So obviously it varies from city to city. If it is a developed city, the death rate will be comparatively low to that of the city which is having no other medical equipments, and it can provide only primary treatment to any sorts of diseases, right? So growth rate, death rate, both depends upon the type of city. Now, I have given you an example. I'm just discussing the parameters. There is nothing to write. It's more than sufficient if you understand these things. Now, one thing more regarding death rate and growth rate. Growth rate is that birth rate only. So, okay, so don't get confused. Growth rate and death rate are almost constant. Like if growth rate is 2.9%, 2.89%, 2.9%, then 2.87%, and then like 2.8%. Fine. So what will happen? This growth rate, I'll just go in the reverse manner basically. So, or basically I can write 2.87, 2.8%, or I can say this growth rate is further like 2.899%, something like this, and then 3.5%, anything like this. So what will happen? This rate is almost constant. Fine, this rate is almost constant. Similarly, the death rate is almost constant, and these both depends upon the type of city, right? This is clear to you? Now, the third thing which we need to discuss is migration. how this migration affects the population of any city, I'll explain you, but let me make you clear. Migration are of two types. One is positive migration, one is negative migration. How? I'll give you an example. See, what is happening? If there is a young city which is newly constructed, which is newly developed, what will happen? And the thing is, there are many industries which are to be set up, the software companies and many good software MNCs and all those that are going to be set up. So what will happen? People nearby will move there. Apart from that, people from any other cities, any other states will come so that they can get a job there. And what will happen? Gradually, the population will increase. Advantage of that place is also the supply is more, the demand is less. Fine. So this is known as positive migration. What is happening? It's a young city. Basically, the demand is less and supply is more. And that is the reason, and the extent of industrialization is more. See, resources you are getting it, the extent of industrialization is more, you are getting a job, you are not having basically the price of commodity is not increasing to a higher level extent. Whatever is your demand, it is being fulfilled and there is an excess supply. So what will happen? All the people nearby that city or from other places will move to that particular city, and that is the reason it will go positive migration. Now, how come negative migration will occur? Negative migration will occur in a manner, let us suppose that city is very old city. Almost it has reached to a saturation level. Fine, people will come for job, but what will happen? Like there is so much of traffic if you go to Delhi and all. There's so much of traffic, you have to travel hours and hours, there is a lot of pollution. So what you'll move to the outskirts of that city. Like basically you will go to Noida or some other place which is comparatively less polluted as compared to that of Delhi. Fine. So what is happening? You are moving away from that place. That is negative migration. You're moving to the outskirts of the city to some other place where is comparatively less pollution is there and all those other factors. And that is the reason we have two types of migrations. One is positive migrations, which you have observed in young cities. People are coming to basically reside in the young city, and it depends upon the extent of industrialization. It depends upon the law and order. It depends upon all the regulations, everything, availability of natural resources, or basically resources, not natural, you can tell it on broader basis, resources. Getting it? So these are the factors on which your population depends. Fine. This is positive migration, negative migration, and it depends upon the extent of industrialization, law and order, availability of resources and all other things, right? Third thing which I'll be discussing is increase due to annexation. That means the meaning of this annexation is to forcefully conquer a city, a place, a country, something like that you can say. How come? Let us say, I'll tell you. If India takes Pakistan, what will happen? A water demand, what will happen? We have to supply water to that portions also, a raw water scheme we have to design. There will be a change in population of a city. Fine. So what will happen? What we are doing it? We are conquering or forcefully taking any other country into ours. So this also affects the population. Fine. See, this is secondary, that they will also be having the raw water schemes, anything and all those things. What the main motive is? How this population of any city depends. Yeah, it depends upon increase due to annexation, because whenever you are making or forcefully bringing any other country into you're merging it in your country, then what will happen? Obviously, there will be an increase in the population. Right? We are not considering that about the raw water schemes and all. I am just telling you what are the factors on which population of a city depends. Right? So, you can get another example like China and Hong Kong. Currently, Hong Kong is not a part of China. But what is that? China, if forcefully takes Hong Kong, then also you can say that that is an annexation, and because of that, what is happening? There is an increase in increase in population. Fine. Now, One thing more, just on a general basis, see any sorts of diseases, pandemic, epidemic, which if it occurs, fine, it also affects the population of a city. The thing is, although we don't consider, because generally this pandemic and all occurs once in 100 years and all those things, but if on a broader sense, if you ask me, ma'am, does pandemic, epidemic affects the population of a city? Yes, they do. Emergency situations and pandemic, epidemic affects. One thing more, what is pandemic and what is epidemic? See, COVID-19 initially was there in China, and China, Wuhan place. So we thought that it is an epidemic because it is like city specific or area specific, to be precise. So we thought that okay, fine, it is spreading in Wuhan only, so it is an epidemic. The time it started to spread all over the world, this COVID-19, from epidemic it turns into pandemic. So of course it affects the population. For sure it affects the population. On broader basis, we take all these four: growth rate, death rate, migrations, increase due to annexation, fine. But still, if anybody asks you, does this pandemic, epidemic, emergencies, they affect the population of a city? Yes, they do affect the population of a city. And that is the reason whenever I told you, like we got 603 liters per day demand, and we have to multiply it by the population. And that time I told you that we have to multiply with the design population. And that is the reason for getting that design population, we are starting population forecasting. And population forecasting, firstly I showed you how this population, rate of growth of population changes with time. And then secondly, I showed you what? I told you that what are the factors, or what are the basic factors on which population of a city depends. What are the parameters? So growth rate, death rate, migration, increase due to annexations, any sorts of pandemic, epidemic, on all these factors, population of a city depends, right? So now, after knowing this, there are various methods of population forecasting which we will be dealing.